Hey,
How
hey,
y'all
hey.
doing? We are two people with bad headaches, and we're going to go to sleep after this show. Indeed. Thank you for tuning in to another great show of The Sofa. I am your host, Laurent, and if you're watching us on YouTube, please kick, slap, beat up that like button so that I can start getting some movement when it comes down to the algorithm and whatnot, because you know you like the show. So I don't know why you're playing with me like this. We have to get some bowls or something. So tonight I have the host over to my left or to the right. That's my co-host, which is also my new boss on one of the coolest radio stations, 101 TKO, you know what I'm saying.com. And what is the show called, boss?
It's the mail room. Messages
Right.
from you with Tashawn and friends. And y'all are
Uh,
my friends.
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Every Saturday, Eastern Standard Time, 10 p.m. to 12.
10
So,
a.m.
8 a.m. p.m. I did say p.m.
Yeah.
Huh? A.m. I'm
PM.
so sorry, guys. See, yeah. See, boss had to correct me. Please don't fire me. Please
The
don't
merit.
fire.
It won the merit.
So, for those who don't know, our show today is finding out who I am will only allow me to be the person my partner needs.
Mm,
So, Miss Toshawn, you look at
yes.
that
Mm-hmm.
and you read that and you embody it. And what can you say about that for yourself?
For me, finding out who I am will only allow me to be the person my partner needs. I am the relationship coach certified, and I specialize. My niche is building a healthy relationship, but starting with yourself. So I'm all about finding out who I am first before bringing in someone else into my world. So for me, that speaks volume. But how many of us actually follow that? You know,
Mhm.
um, how many are actually willing to go down that route of healing and really truly finding out who we are, before we allow someone else into our space. So I'm interested to see what we create tonight, what we
Yes.
talk about tonight with this, because it opens up a lot of avenues and um, doors. And I tell people all the time, as a coach, I speak in transparency, and a lot of times people don't want to hear the depth and the truth about finding out who they are, before they invite that other person. Now, that doesn't mean anything about being perfect for
Yes.
waiting forever and a day, because you're going to constantly change. But we're going to get into that throughout the conversation.
Yes, exactly, exactly, exactly. I just got finished listening to Michelle Obama talking to
Mhm.
Gail. I love that woman.
Yeah, she's
Why?
pretty cool.
Yeah, why? It's not even just a woman. I love that man too, not because he was the president. I
Yeah,
love them because that they present one of the things that I truly understand the purpose of us as humans when it comes to God is that love, that union between each other.
yeah, yeah.
And it's lost in translation.
Mm-hmm.
And she basically stated that relationship is like a team. And
Yeah,
I'm actually I recorded it and I'm going to use it on one of the shows. It got something to talk about. I just wanted to briefly hit on it. But it's a team, and you don't want someone that's just going to come and sit on the bench. You want someone that's going to be playing. And don't quote me
yeah,
on the words. She didn't say it like that, but it's pretty much what she was stating. Get
yeah,
somebody that's going to put in the same work. Like if you come to practice at 9 o'clock in the morning and practices at 10, and your other player comes at 12, something ain't right. You know.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So this relationships are very important, guys. And in order to have a great relationship, you have to know who you are. It
yeah. You
unfortunately
do.
it's not going to work, or you're going to be looking to that other person to feed into you who you are. And
Mhm.
sometimes that doesn't work, or if it does become that person may and I'm just going to say, like, I want to my previous relationship, my previous marriage, I lost
Mhm.
myself into that person because I saw who that person could be. And
Okay.
so I, to a degree, almost embodied that person, became that person. And so when I
Mhm.
left, it was almost like, dang, I started looking at myself. I don't even know who I am.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I know a lot of people are there, and it doesn't matter what age you're at. You'd be very surprised how many people get knocked up in the head at 60,
Yeah.
50, 18, 16, trying to figure out, dang, I don't know who I am. So let's dive into this lovely thing. Let's look at a definition of being oneself:
Mm.
to function physically and mentally as one normally does. Two, to be natural and sincere. Now, not sure if you're going to agree with me, boss,
Mhm.
but I do believe that some of these people are not who they say they are when you get in a relationship. You know, you're not sincere, you're lying about what you want and what you don't want, and then you get married, and then all of a sudden people be like, well, I didn't want kids. No, you agreed that you wanted kids, so now I want kids, or that person is automatically just changed, and it is okay. I don't think people
Yeah.
really understand that it is okay to change. That you might have had that discussion of, yo, we don't want any kids. 10 years down the line, the male or female just may watch something or may be a teacher
Mm.
and realize that, oh wow, maybe I do want at least one, and they should be able to come to their partner and say sincerely, hey, I know we had a discussion about not having kids, but
Yeah.
I just really want one now. People will leave, or if that person don't say anything, which I think that is wrong, and then get pregnant, and that person just
Yeah.
walks out.
Yeah. And with that, what happens is, and again, um, I'm all about my niche is all about making sure that you, again, I'm not a therapist.
Hmm.
And I strongly encourage people to seek therapy because
Yes,
a lot of
please.
times this is deeper than what a coach does. We're not therapists. But I honestly feel like when people are not telling the truth and they approach you, they are afraid of exposing their truth because they
Yes,
really like you. And
yes.
they're afraid that if they tell the complete truth that they're going to lose you because they're attracted to you, they want you, they like you, they really really do like you, and they want to be with you, but they're scared of their background. They're scared of, oh wait a minute, she may not like me because of
Mm,
this, that, and the other.
mm.
And what I tell people, what we don't have we forget that we change over time, and that has
Yes.
been an issue in relationships. Just speaking of my own past relationships, it's I did not allow myself to change or grow, and I did
Hmm.
not allow my ex partner at that time to change, because you don't think about changing. You don't think
Yeah.
about none of that stuff. You're like, you're 20, you're 30, you're like, okay, things gonna be the same, da, da, da. You got your whole
Well,
life
it's
planned out.
something that the world doesn't promote, though. Change.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
does.
And
It does to a
yeah,
certain degree, but not the change that we need in life.
right. And it's healthy to change. It's healthy
Hmm.
to grow, but we don't talk about that. We don't have those. And I talk about this quite often. John Travolta, before his wife passed, he said that they
Oh
would
wow.
do every 3 to 6 months, or I think it was like every 3 to 6 months, they would do this getaway. It would just be the two of them, and they
Okay.
would ask each other. They would do like a check-in.
Revaluation.
Yeah. And they will ask, like, what's going on? How are you
Yep.
doing? What
Yep.
changes? And then, like, at the end, I think like that once at the end of the year type of deal, they'll do like this, again, just the two of them
Yes.
to
Hmm.
reevaluate their relationship, because you do grow, you do change. And that's something that I've been that me and Chef will try to implement. He's learning. We've been together with 7 years now and married 5, but he's buying into it. And when I mean buying into it, because again, if you're not used to doing those type of things in relationships, it's gonna
Yeah.
look foreign. It's gonna be like, wait a minute, that's white people stuff, or that's
No,
people don't do that.
that's ordinary people stuff that should be done.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. If you don't, because if you're so used to toxicity in your
Yep.
relationships, you
Yep.
don't know that there is good that can be in a
Yes.
relationship. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? And so that changed. And so a lot of times people are afraid to tell the truth for many good reasons. I don't believe that people just lie just to be lying, you know.
Yeah.
Um, Now there are people out there just gonna lie, just and that's the issue. But I really believe that people lie during their dating and courting because they are afraid that that person is not going to like them for who they are.
What did I say at the very beginning of the show? Pretty
Hmm.
much the shame, guilt, and
Yeah,
if that wasn't a thing, if that
yeah,
wasn't pushed so much that oh, you need to be afraid that this person is not going to like you, so you're gonna
yeah.
have to put a whole nother cover over. People would be, and I got a story that brings this all together with you saying that.
Hmm.
Me and my wife, at the very beginning,
Yeah.
um, we're finna take our first vacation. Uh,
Okay.
I never planned a vacation. I was
Uh-huh.
planning this stuff. She was surprised because she was like, I've never had nobody just get up and make the date
Yeah.
and the time and got the money together to do it. And, and just
Yeah.
saying, hey, we finna go type thing.
Yeah.
And I'm getting ready. And all of a sudden, I get a knock. Boom, boom, boom.
Uh-huh.
You gotta tell her, right? All right. So see, all right, God, we've already had this conversation once before that let me
Yeah.
have this vacation first. And I tell her when we get back, because I don't know, she might not like me anymore.
Yeah.
She might not like me. Nope, that's not fair to her. You
Yeah.
go on to this vacation and she has fun, and then she sees you as a person that she want to be with, and
Hmm.
then you say, bam, you gonna make her mad. And oh
Yeah.
man, I just broke down, started crying. She ain't gonna like me. So I sat down and I'm like, listen, I can't. And because it comes off of me prior to talking to her, somebody was like, you're so open and you talk to people and you tell people too much of your business. And if I was a woman, which
Yeah.
I am, I can use that against you. And then I'm
Yeah.
telling her like, if you were to use that, then what is that to say about you? Because I'm
Hmm.
being
Hmm.
honest with you, and now you're using that as some form of action to get what you want when probably you can get it anyway.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
it goes back to our conversation, and she was like, bruh, really? Why would you tell me this now? We supposed to been going on like, see, I knew it. I'm sitting up here arguing in my head with God while I'm talking to her
Yeah.
and stuff. And she was like, eh. We talked it out, and we got an understanding, and that was it.
Okay.
And I was like, wow, I don't have to. Why am I scared?
Yeah. Yeah.
you know and again, it's my past, and in order for me to be the person that I am now, those
Yeah.
were life lessons that I've had to learn.
Right.
And I know a lot of people aren't learning their lessons because they sit and they put that stuff and they hide it in their head and they go on about their business and then be like, oh, I ain't going back there and messing with that stuff. But you learn valuable lessons when you go back and you face your traumas, you face all your little demons that you got going on in your head, and you can't sit up here and tell me that you ain't got none, because you do. You know you
Yeah.
do. So stop lying to yourself. So, but yeah, that was my thing. And that pretty much, I say, shows truth to what you were saying about people being scared. And it's not that that person is a bad person. Why you lied to me about having this particular job? Because we were talking, and just out of the blue, you was like, well, dang, it would be nice if I could come across somebody that had six figures.
Yeah.
But I hear you also tell me how much you like me and how much you're enjoying our time together.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to keep that going, dang, I know I work at Burger King.
Yeah.
I got to figure something out, and it's sad.
Yeah,
So
and
sad.
that's because we allow, again, we have these standards and these expectations that we set according to social media, we set according to our family, our friends. Um, Instead of just saying what is it that that person wants, and if
Mm-hmm.
that person wants a if that person I'm using this as an example. If that woman falls in love with someone who works at Burger King, and they are happy, they are doing what they set out to do, there
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't be a problem
Nope.
with anybody else.
Nope.
And because that relationship could be just as authentic as if he was at a corporate
Yes.
Fortune 500 company. If he's treating
Mm-hmm.
her right, and I mean when I say treating right, respecting her, um
And this can
being
be in any form
as
because
he's
everybody sees the respect and their wishes totally different. So,
yeah. And that's why I always tell people, like I was telling some girlfriends, I said, I can't tell you how to get a man. I really
mm-hmm.
can't. I'm a relationship coach, and that doesn't I, my my part as a relationship coach doesn't tell you how to get a man, because again, it depends on what you want.
Yep.
My wants are not and needs are not going to be the same as yours.
Right.
However, you should have that base, meaning that respect that should automatically be in the picture. That
Mm-hmm.
respect of what you want from him and what he wants from you and so forth. So if he has a 9 to 5, or if he doesn't have a 9 to 5, if he has $1 million home, or if he has a tiny home. I'm
Yep.
sorry, y'all. These I got flowers and so forth. So you have to really, you have to be have that honest, transparent, authentic conversation with the person that you are dating,
Right.
and you build on that. And so many of us, and so many times we are looking for the approval of everyone else, and we're
Yep.
we're basing our relationship off what we think everybody else wants ours to be. But at the
Yep.
end of the day, I always tell people, like, at the end of the day, it's going to be you and him
Yes.
having to pay that house note or
Yep.
that rent,
Not them
paying
people
the light
outside.
bill, or so, and it shouldn't matter what anybody else to say, what else anybody else says. Um, if he's treating you right and treating you like the queen, if y'all going on picnics and doing the things that you dreamed of doing with your partner,
Yeah.
so be it. And I get it over time, and it has taken me all of these years to understand that, because I was too one of those people that based I wanted a relationship like everybody else. I thought
Okay.
everybody else wanted me to have, you
Gotcha.
know, versus I end up losing myself in
Yep.
that relationship prior, because I was trying to put myself in this category. I was the church
Mm-hmm.
lady. You know what I'm saying? I was the arts and crafts wife. I was the wife. I was the teacher. I was the volunteer. I was wearing all of these hats
Pass.
because I was trying to
Wow. Yep.
and I really was. I was that OCD, keeping the
Yes.
house to the mat, throwing the dinner parties for my friends and family, planning trips for
Wow.
family vacations. I was doing all of this because I thought that's who I was supposed to be. And I
Okay.
thought that's what, everybody else thought I was supposed to be, because I had this image. But at the same time, I lost myself,
Yep.
and I wasn't happy with myself. And so, therefore, the more I kept doing and the more I kept forcing myself to do these things, I became miserable and I
Mm.
literally lost myself. So, this time around, when God blessed me a second time around, I was like, oh, I'm not doing all of that.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
doing all of that. You know, I'm
Yeah,
like, I really had to understand who I was first before I
yeah.
can get with somebody. And that's what I talk about, that healing piece.
Mm,
I don't believe in there was a question that was posed by one of the other personalities. Um, and he was asking how long should you, I think, don't quote me on it, but it was like, how long should you get into another relationship after you leave another? And my answer is always, if you're talking about long-term relationships and so forth, um, give yourself time to heal. You cannot jump into another relationship because you don't know who you are.
yeah,
You really do not. You haven't addressed issues. You
yeah.
haven't addressed anything. So before you invite someone else into your space, you
Yes.
got to heal because you
It's
don't
not
know who.
a Yeah, it's not a number. You can't put a number on it
Right,
because depending on what you're trying to heal from,
right.
that number can definitely change. And you're
Yeah,
totally correct. And my mom used to say, become, get to know the person, become friends. It ain't about being friends because anybody can. Folks ask me how come and they look at me sideways when it's like, well, maybe that's why your marriage went the way that it went because you ain't know that person. When we said, yeah, we want to get married, we got what? No, I think we got married like 6 months after we started dating,
okay.
and so people ask, would you do it again? Yeah, because again, like I've said before, women, men know exactly they compartmentalize you
Yeah,
automatically off the rip, how they see you, where they can see you fitting, and if automatically comes in their head that you're wifey, it's exactly what you is. That's how they're gonna look
yeah,
at you, and it's just up to you to decide when you're wanting. And that's what happened with me and Lisa. I already
yeah.
told her, hey, when I first saw you, God said, boop, you do what you need
That's
to do. That's her.
yeah.
Okay. And she was like, I don't see what you seeing,
But
so I
me and her
can't.
just alike. Yeah, me and her.
I can't.
I
And
told
so I had
Shella, mm-mm. I
and I
told her
had
the
to
same
respect
thing.
that though.
Yeah,
I had to respect that. And soon enough, she was the one that decided, oh, okay, come on, let's go ahead and do it. And I'm like, okay, because I'm automatically already ready.
yeah, yeah,
So, she could have said it yesterday. She could have said it 5 years from now. I was already ready because I had my mindset. So women don't sit and allow a man to tell you that he doesn't already know where he sees you. The
yeah,
thing is that you're figuring out yourself who you are and if that's where you want to be placed. And men, don't sit up here and lie to a woman when she's sitting and asks you, what do you see us or how do you see me? If it's a
yeah.
booty call, it's a booty call. That's like we were just
Exactly.
saying a little bit earlier. Stop lying to these people.
Yeah,
You'll be very
that's my whole
surprised how
thing.
many women
Yeah,
sitting up here waiting for you to say, oh, I just want to have sex with you.
right. And that's my whole premise. Like, just be honest with each other. Like, you should be grown enough now to say what you want. And if
Yes.
if it's gonna cost you, well, I don't know, and before I was, before, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to get rid of my flower. I love flowers, but these flower
They
gnats
got
or
fruit
whatever.
flies.
Yeah, I get, and I'm just
Yes.
like,
I can't
okay,
stand them.
whew. But so it's like, if you're gonna be on when you're dating, and I know we talked about this before on one of the other shows of dating. Um, it's just, again, being honest with yourself.
Hmm.
We have to be transparent with ourselves, and a lot of times we are afraid to say what we want and really implement what we want.
Yes.
And I remember after once I got out of that relationship, once I got divorced, um again, I tell people I was celibate for 8 years, and that
Okay.
celibacy wasn't just withholding, abstaining from sex, but it
Yeah.
was also getting to know who I
Yeah. It
was as
was.
a.
Yes. Because you can't do that with sex being involved.
Right. And it was like it was that cleansing period for me,
Hmm.
meaning I had to not just go dig deep in my spiritual life, but the physical and the mental part of it,
Yes.
because I still had issues that, and again, that's why I say seek therapy, because during that time as well, I was going to therapy. It was like, okay, some other stuff is not right. Let me see what's going on. So all of that was part of my healing process. And then when it was time for me to jump into, not even jump, when I was ready for a new relationship, that's
Uh-huh.
when God opened up that window for me. It was like, now you're ready to. Now that doesn't mean that I was perfect, because there's still
Yes.
things I'm still working on.
Yep.
However, that means I wasn't going into a new relationship with all of the extra baggage and the toxic behaviors I had prior. And that's what happens to a lot of us. We still have behaviors that we are still holding on to and we're dealing with, but then we expect the person that we're getting with, dating, and then we marry, to help us heal that. That's not their responsibility. They can
Yeah.
assist you on that journey, but they're not
Hmm.
responsible for your healing. God
Yeah.
gave us enough tools to use and like he put people on this earth.
Yep.
Therapist is one of them.
Yep.
Coaches,
God
he
dang it.
put them on the earth for us to use. It's we
Speak it, girl.
again.
Speak it.
I'm God's girl, and at first I was like, I'm just gonna pray about it, and He's like, okay, pray, but I'm sending you these people.
Yes. I
Pray for
told my
healing.
dad, I'm like, dude, there's something wrong. Go get help. I ain't really gonna talk
Yeah,
about it. Oh, God got me. God, you do know that God sends people to help you, right?
right. There are
No, no, no,
there are
no, 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 no,
faith
no.
based.
Yeah,
In
yeah,
fact, my therapist is a faith-based therapist. So,
yes.
there are people for everybody, and that's the beauty of the healing piece. We don't have to do it by ourselves anymore.
Nope.
And again, if we want healthy relationships, it has to start with self. And
Self.
that's what you have to start with yourself. You can't have a healthy relationship with anybody else if you don't have one with yourself. And
Yep.
that's what I'm all about.
Miss
You just cannot do it.
Nope. Well, Miss Whitney says one thing that keeps women afraid of being honest about what she wants is yes, the man may run from. I'm reading the wrong one. Hold on, Miss Whitney. I'm sorry. Um, she said some men won't be honest. That all he wants is sex because that lessen his chance of getting it. That lessens his chance of getting it. So they lie about being unsure about the relationship to keep her emotions on hook. I definitely, honestly, I've seen it in my friends and stuff. So I definitely understand where she's coming from with that. One thing that keeps women afraid of being honest about what she wants is yes, the man may run from commitment, but also he wants it so badly because he feels worthless without a relationship. Huh.
Mhm.
She feels worthless. She feels worthless. Okay. So I understand. Yes.
And that's
Yes.
why we
Yep.
jump into the relationships for
Relationships.
wrong
Yes.
reasons. And
Yes.
to
Hmm.
we are afraid to have that talk with ourselves, that discussion with ourselves. And it does require that one-on-one with yourself. It
Yep.
really does.
Yep.
I remember an exercise, and I have it in my journal. I tell people, I was coaching some women, and the first thing I told the women, I said, you're gonna have to get naked.
Yep.
And of course they were like, huh? I'm like, you're gonna have to get naked in the physical and in the spirit.
Yes.
And what I mean by that is you have to undress the mess behind it so you won't feel worthless. You will feel, after you come out of that, when you know your value, when you know your worth, you're not going to be afraid of, oh, I won't be able to get that man, and or I won't be able to do that. No, when you finish going on your healing, when you're on your healing journey, after you go through all of that, you're going to
Hmm.
come out of it like you're going to be that woman of gold. You're going to be that man of gold, because again, God didn't make us to feel worthless. You
Yep.
know what I'm saying? We should not be afraid. God made enough people on this earth for all of us to be in a healthy relationship if we want
Yes.
one. I
Yep. Yep.
don't
Yep.
get into all of that. Well, there's no men left in it. No, come
you,
on, y'all.
another
We
thing that I
felt
can
the
add
call to the doke.
to that before we move on is I heard something that where the saying that the woman needs to wait for the man to find her. I can't find you if you're not making yourself available. In order for you to
Yeah,
be available, you still have to present yourself, meaning you have to do something. So
yeah,
I don't believe that I do honestly feel like I'm saying that a man sees what he sees and knows what he wants. That's where it
well, you,
stops at,
yeah.
huh?
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it stops at that with the man, but then because a lot of folks say, well, men are it's one sided on each side. Or the man controls who's gonna be in the relationship finalizing. No, no, the woman makes the decision. No, the man sees exactly what he wants, realize
Yeah,
what he wants, and it's still up to her if she's gonna say yes or no to whatever this man is thinking, regardless if he tells her or not.
yeah,
You cannot tell me that a woman doesn't feel the essence of the title that this person is throwing on them without saying it. Their action speaks louder than words. So,
mhm,
regardless of somebody saying, "Oh, we girlfriend and boyfriend," if you treat me like a booty call, you a booty call.
mhm,
And
mhm.
folks, it goes right back to that shame, that guilt. You just don't want to feel and think that you're a booty call, so you just go ahead and let this go and go through the motions.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, if you agree to be that booty
Yes,
call, then y'all both booty calls. But you have to
because a
make
lot
that
of them
mutual.
aren't doing it though. A lot of them are.
I don't understand it.
Yeah.
Because when I was out there back in the day, I
Uh-huh.
made it very clear. I wasn't trying to get in a relationship. It's like
Yeah.
you are what you are to me. And I know at that time people were like, "Oh, you so hard with it." I'm like, "No, because I don't want to." It's not that I'm being hard. I just don't want to have mixed signals because I already
Yes.
know as
Yes.
a woman, for me, if I'm looking to have a steady relationship and I already
Hmm.
know that this person is not ready for that and I'm really not ready for that, then okay, well, let's just say what it is. I'm gonna
Hmm.
call you when I
Yep.
need some companionship.
Yes.
And that
Hmm.
way you know how to jump out the window when it's time
Yep.
or whatever, be done.
Yep. Yeah.
You're not spending the night. You know what I'm
No.
saying? You
Yep.
don't bring no spend the night bag.
Yep. Don't even
That
think about no
that's it.
toothbrush. Yep.
Don't
Nah.
pack nothing. You ain't getting a drawer or nothing. Don't try to leave nothing. You're not getting it. You know what I'm saying? But again, we come with these games,
Yep.
and you know, it's just. And sometimes people say the honest talk is too much. No, it's not. It's
No, it
not
is
too
not.
much
It's
because you need to know right off the rip
yes.
what are we doing. You don't have
That's
to
what
put
dating
titles
is.
on it.
Dating is not
Right?
sex.
It's not. It's
Guys, get this
yeah.
out your head. Dating is not going out with somebody for dinner and then going home and having sex. You in
Right.
a relationship. If that happens, I don't care what nobody said. Y'all are in a relationship. You can sit and convince yourself that this is not what it is. Once you cross that sexual line, you're in a
Yeah.
full-fledged relationship
You just
because that's
you're
a form of commitment.
Yeah. And you set those boundaries in your dating life. If you say,
Yep.
"Hey, you know what? I wouldn't mind having sex with you. We're going to make sure we stay protected because if you're sleeping with other people, I'm sleeping with other people. Let's make that mutual agreement and be done."
Yep.
But
Yeah.
if he's thinking that he's the only one and you're in your dating realm and he's like, "Wait a minute, I'm trying to be the only one." Miscommunication. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So it's that communication piece that I'm heavy on. Like you just have to be authentic in your truth, and we're just afraid of that. I'm not quite understand why we are afraid of the truth.
It again, it's like what I said at the beginning of before we started the show. It's something that society has implanted. Be
Yeah,
afraid. Be afraid of who you are because if we are who we are, that means
Yeah.
that every stereotype, every Instagram post, every doctor that does plastic surgery is a lie.
Yeah.
So, and we can't say that, people be disgusted by believing that. So, before we go to the questions here, we got a couple of comments. Ms. Whitney states that many social dating rules like lying and pretenses actually prevent people from getting to know each other rather than helping them really see the other person.
Yeah.
Really, that is true. I definitely can say I concur with that. Mr. Johnson says facts. Miss Whitney also states again, women playing wifey makes it easy for men who I can't never say this word right, compartmentalize. Thank you for
Hmm.
giving me that hard word, Miss Whitney. Um, I do not like you. Her body calls while she is hoping her action will change his mind. Yes. After 6 years, they break up, and 20 minutes later, he's in a relationship engaged to marry someone else. Yes. Matter of fact, I've been that person. That stuff happens to me. Yeah, I'm normally the women do me like the men do in that situation. So I'm a unicorn. Mr. Johnson said people are dishonest because your choice might not line up with their agenda. That is so
Yeah.
correct. Um,
Yeah.
hey, Miss Jackson. Hey,
Hey.
come on in here, girl. We finna ask some questions here. We got a couple of questions. So in the description, you will see this website that I come across that you can ask yourself. Because again, this is about finding out who you are to be the right person for your partner.
Hmm.
Ain't no need for you going in a relationship being all wolf and sheep clothing and whatnot. So,
Yeah.
first question. All right, Deshaun, do you believe your word, your worth, you're worthy of good things like love and happiness?
Oh yes, most definitely.
Okay.
I believe that from after my years of healing. Now, prior to me, my first marriage, it was like in between. I only felt good if, you know, if the guy liked me or, I
Mm,
was happy through that. And then
mm,
when I got married, I was like, okay, yeah, somebody said, they asked me to marry them or whatnot. But after I got divorced, all of that changed because I had to reevaluate who I was and I had to discover my own love and happiness. It didn't come from anyone. It had to come from within. It had to come from God. And so that was part of my healing. So but now, yeah, I'm worthy of love and happiness. And one thing I can say about me and Chef's relationship, we established that is um that's who he's not to, he's gonna make me happy, but I wasn't looking for happiness in him
right.
and vice versa. I was happy before him.
So it's not that he's making you happy, he's just elevating your
Right.
happiness.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't look like I'm gonna be happy with him and without him. And I
Yes.
mean that like, I didn't look for him to make me happy. And that's what
Yeah.
happens. We look for people to make us happy.
Yep. Yep.
No, they enhance your happiness. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Because things
Uh-huh.
are going to make you unhappy in your relationship at some point, at some
Yep.
time. Because if you're going through some things, you're going to be unhappy with that situation, but not with that person. So yes,
Right.
he elevates. I love my handsome honey, and he makes me happy. But I was happy and felt loved before I got with him, and vice versa with him.
Yep. So I can say the same with me on that situation. And to amplify what Miss Whitney was saying earlier about the when playing wifey,
Yeah.
Miss Whitney, I would like to say that I get when people say that and don't play husband, don't play wifey and whatnot. But for me, and this is just my opinion, this is what works for me, guys. If you want to try it, you can try it. But my happiness is with me as well. So let me first say that to answer that question. Yes, I now understand that I am worthy of love and happiness because I have to give it to myself first.
Mm-hmm.
And once I started giving it to myself, I understood that I need and want someone to do the same that I'm
Right.
going to do to them.
Right.
And I need for them to be whole as well. And also, you have to understand, guys, that regardless of you being in a relationship with this person, things are going to happen, that things are going to cause trauma, trigger. So things are going to pop up to where
Yeah.
this person may change. And you have to address that accordingly to what's going on with that trauma, and not bail from that person.
Yeah.
And um a lot of people sit and say, oh well, dang, you changed. Yeah. You're not the same person. Yeah, I do that. And so, because I am human, and so I have to go through that trauma and try and find my worth again. So many people have gone through that, and so many people have left. I
Yeah.
wanted to say that about that question. So yes, I do love myself and I am worthy of it. But to just go back to that, I played husband because I wanted a wife.
Mm.
And I think people misuse being playing wifey and husband in order to do exactly what she's saying that a lot of men do. They have that woman playing wifey in order to get her draws and whatnot, and then they
Yeah.
leave and go marry somebody else because they knew that she wasn't the one for them. They just utilize, and some women do that to men too. But dating, for me, I think dating without sex is playing that role of wifey and husband, because you're trying. That's how you figure out if this person is compatible with what I'm trying to do with my journey of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And what corrupts that is that emotional sex part that comes in.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think we should really do that wifey husband type thing, where why wait to see how someone acts around their family, or why wait to see how a person washes his clothes? Again, um, you can go to somebody's house and stay with them without having sex. We just choose not to.
Yeah. Yeah.
We choose not to. Before we do the second question, Ms. Jackson says we all are worthy. Believing you are worthy is the foundation of a relationship.
Yep.
Correct. Growth happens daily. Oh, hey, wifey. I was
Hey,
finna say,
Wendy.
who is the sofa real talk? Ha!
Hey, Lisa.
Miss Jackson also say dating is when you collect data on a potential mate. When you find your mate, then you court them to know the intimate details about that person. And
Yeah.
that's what I was basically saying. But again, still, even when you're being intimate, I feel crossing that sexual line is that, for me personally, everybody that really knows me, that sex is that form of marriage, biblical marriage. So
Yeah.
I don't cross that line when I'm dating and I'm being, even though I'm still being intimate, because intimate isn't always sex. Intimate
Yeah.
is you getting to know that person, and who she or he is.
Yeah.
And it's just not being taught, guys. So that's what we're here for. The second question: how comfortable are you, Tashawn, with saying no to things or people who don't bring you joy?
Listen. Listen. I just turned 50 in November. And one of my words on my vision board, I have all of my vision boards, was being able to say no and be comfortable and okay with
Mm,
it. That
mm-hmm,
includes family. That includes friends. That includes I made the I as you all know, I recently retired from teaching, and that was one of my biggest no's because it wasn't bringing me joy. Um,
right.
of course, it was bringing me the paychecks, but it wasn't bringing me joy. And one of the things that I prayed for was joy and peace and happiness for the remainder of my days on this earth, which I'm praying that it'll be 52, 55 more years or so.
Uh-huh.
And the joy, you cannot peace and all of that happiness and joy is priceless. Like you cannot sacrifice. I can't sacrifice that.
Bruh.
So for me, I am getting comfortable in saying no,
No.
and no out of love. And for those who do know me, it is hard for me to say no, but I
Yep.
had to, again, I had to put those boundaries in place.
You know that's how you
And
got all those hats in that previous relationship too, without saying
exactly
no.
because I was saying yes, 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 yes,
Yep.
yes. And that's how I lost myself, because it
Yep.
was like, even if it was an impossible task, I was going to do it. And because I was afraid of saying no, I'm not available. Now I look at my calendar, I'm like, hey, I'm unable to.
Mm-hmm.
However, let you know, if I am able to, then
Yes.
I can.
Yes.
But learning to say no, especially
Mm-hmm.
at this stage of my life, it is becoming my new best friend. If it ain't bringing me joy, it ain't even got to, I know people say if it ain't bringing you money, it ain't even got to bring me,
It ain't gotta bring me money, or don't bring me
it ain't
money.
got to bring me nothing,
I want
but
peace.
I want
I want
peace.
peace. I want
I have
peace.
learned people and things will kill you. That
Yes.
stress of people and things will kill you. So I'm learning, and I'm getting real comfortable. I look at my phone now, I'd be like, baby girl, I can't help you in that situation. You're gonna have to
Yep.
book me now. For you want more, you want free advice, you gotta book me. Ain't no more freebies.
I can second that. And that's something I tell my wife a lot. Man, I am so happy I learned the word, and it even goes to my kids.
Yeah.
Guys, I
He
know
said,
of
I
so many couples and married people are still living their life because of their kids. So you got
yeah,
toxic relationships because they doing it for the kids. You
yeah,
cannot
yeah,
take care of your kids if you ain't taking care of yourself. And being in a
right.
bad relationship is not taking care of kids. You know what it's doing to your kids? Causing trauma. So if you're
Yeah,
sitting up, I ain't telling nobody to break up. I'm just telling you to think about something. If you ain't happy
yeah,
with what's going on in your relationship, that spills over into your kids. That's teaching your kids to say, oh my God, because I'm married, I have to stay in this. Again,
yeah,
hence the reason why you should really study yourself to figure out what you want so you won't find yourself saying, dang, I got to get a divorce because now I realize that it's not me and I don't want that. Right.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
no, definitely is like, even to the kids, no,
Right.
I need my
Gotta say
peace.
no.
You ain't finna mess with that. So,
Right. Yeah.
Miss Jackson says, baby, I have the gift and know and don't mind giving it
I
out.
know that's right.
My lady says, that's an attitude I just learned to use. Hey,
Yeah. I'm learning that
no,
and it feels good. I'm not even gonna lie, it feels good. It really
wait,
does.
no to Sean. She can't say no to me. She has to say no to everybody else, though. It's not gonna feel good.
Listen,
No.
Chef taught me the joys of no saying no, because he said tells me no in a
All
heartbeat.
the
I be like, how you gonna tell me no? And I'm like, oh, okay, I got you. He was like, man, you ain't gonna disturb my peace. I'm like, well, fine.
Yep.
Okay, fine.
She also states peace is worth more. Yes,
Yes, it
it
is.
is.
Yes, it
All
is.
right. Let's see what we got here, Mr. Sean. What's preventing you from being truly happy? So
Ooh.
you say that you're happy now, but what
Mhm.
would prevent you from being happy?
If I was still trying to do what people think I should do,
Okay.
if that makes
Hmm.
sense. If I was still playing well, you know what? This is prime example, me and my job, my career.
Okay.
Um, People still expect me to teach until the day I die. They're
Okay.
like, but you're such a good teacher. I get that and I appreciate that.
Yep.
I'm so thankful for my career. I'm
Yes.
so thankful because it was a calling for me. I want to make that clear. It was a calling. but I also had to say no and be done with that part of my life so that I can operate in my other gifts that God has given me. So
Right.
if I had not been obedient and if I stayed in that realm, um then that would have prevented me from living out the rest of my happiness. Like I wasn't going to be fulfilled and truly happy.
Right.
So by me saying no and saying, you know what, no, I need my peace and I need to move forward so that I can like really, really be happy. I'm happy, but I'm like aiming to get to that next level, like, hey, peaceful and all of that. So that would have prevented me from being truly, truly happy if I did not, if I wasn't obedient to what God had asked me to do.
Hey, not to change the subject, guys. I know this is random as heck. It's 9 o'clock, and it's still bright outside.
It is. It is still bright. I told y'all, me and Chef, we were, I think it was last week, and he said, "Hey, it's about nine something, and it's still bright." I said, "Yeah, the world changing." I'm like,
It-
Jesus, I want to be ready when you come, because I want to have everything I need because something ain't right. Because yeah,
Bruh.
it's bright. It's bright. I look
Oh boy, the
these pizza.
lies people tell to us.
So
So
hey,
going back to get back onto it, I kind of like what you were just basically stating, and I go back to before we started the show with people. Me also, me being unhappy would be me stop doing what I know is
yeah,
true to me when it comes to what God is providing for me. Like this, what
yeah.
I'm doing now. This is the first episode I was able to sit up here and press the begin button without saying, um, um. And so for me, that's growth. And
Yeah,
that's also me believing in what then provided, for me
yeah.
to deliver. And so, yes,
It's that
uh,
freedom. That freedom.
yes, yeah, yes, that freedom. Miss Jackson says, I'm telling them to break up, let that go. You deserve to be happy and not being a dumping ground for unhealed people.
That's
Thank
right.
you, Miss Jackson, for saying
That's
that. So
right.
from this point on, I am saying, baby, no, you cannot say no. No does not apply when it comes to me. We got that. I'm about like Tashawn now, and no, see,
No
Tashawn, why you
applying
starting
that
something?
to ever whomever.
Miss Jackson says, to those who are word like me, worried about what people say or think about
Yep.
me, them, let it go and be happy. Don't let that prevent you from being happy.
That's so true. She
Hey,
said, no, no,
sweetie,
no.
I love the fact that you're watching the show, but stop it. No. All right. So the next question, Mr. Sean, do you believe you are responsible for your own happiness? Why or why not? And you already kind of said
Yeah.
this already.
Yeah, earlier, as I stated
Yep.
before, I am responsible for my own happiness, but it comes from within after
Yep.
you discover, like, hey, happiness doesn't come in material things or
Mm.
just
Say it
situations,
again.
temporary
Hold on. Rewind it.
situations.
Say it one more time. Say it when I it don't
It
what?
does not come in material items or temporary situations.
Mm.
There are going to be days and times. I had unhappy moments last week and the week before when my uncle passed, and I shared that on my Truth Moment Tuesday. I was going through this moment where I had to reflect on my family. I just lost my aunt, and then prior to that to my grandmother, then prior to that to my mom, and my dad, and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
Those were unhappy life moments. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Of course, they were not those moments did not bring me joy. It did not bring me that peace, and it did not bring me happiness. However, that wasn't the basis of my happiness overall, if that makes any sense. Like, I'm already a happy person,
Yeah.
but those are moments of life that happen that at that moment you were not going to see me sunshine smiles
Yep.
because I was sad.
Yep.
And God speaks of that, and his word about, like, there are going to be seasons of mourning, seasons of joy, seasons of just temporary emotions and so forth. So I am responsible for my own happiness, and that happiness is something that I've asked God to help me over time to build up. So when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to moments, days like this, or at that time, it's like, okay, wow, my happiness wasn't solely based on my family or my
Right.
friends or the money in my bank account, my
Uh-huh.
job, or anything like that. My happiness comes from within, meaning I have joy, that unspeakable joy. Like, I can look, if it's raining cats and dogs, I can still find joy in that storm. You see what I'm
Yep.
saying? If my lights are turned out, I will still be able to find happiness and joy with we just gonna have a candlelit dinner tonight,
Ooh.
uh if I don't have gas in my car, I'm going to find that joy and that happiness with not having gas, and it's because it's a temporary situation. You see what I'm
Yep.
saying? Now, if I base my happiness off of, I ain't got no gas, my life is just broken, it's the
Mm.
end of the world. Yeah,
Yep.
that's not happiness. That's why I tell people, you have to find that happiness, and you have to find that joy. My girlfriend, Coach Latressa, she just did a conference, and she has a book. And for those who are on my IG, follow her at the Real Latressa. She has a book, Finding Joy in Everyday Life, and she talks about this. You are responsible for your own happiness, because
Yep.
there are going to be things in your life. There are going to be some moments where you're not going to feel happy,
Mm.
but you're going to be. That's that a temporary fix that we have to understand. You are responsible for your own happiness. So I'm a firm believer that find find that happiness first, so that when these life situations hit, you will have that peace, you will have that joy, but you will also know that these situations that happen are just temporary. And
Yep.
there's life, and there's joy, there's that rainbow after the storm. That's why I
Mm-hmm.
love rainbows, God's promises after the storm, because if you know it's after that storm, it looks gloomy, don't look like you coming out of it. But when you do, baby, that
Yeah.
rainbow, it's like, boom, there it is.
Miss Jackson says trying moments,
Yeah,
challenges are puzzles to help you find what makes you happy. And Miss Jackson, I
yeah,
was stating this earlier.
that's true.
Lessons, that trauma going back. We try so hard to hide all the supposed wrong things that we feel are wrong things that we've done. And I'm not saying that they're wrong. Um, I know I'm overreaching here when I sit up here and say even a person that murders somebody,
Yeah.
and actually I know of someone that murdered his girlfriend or his
Mm,
fiance because she cheated on him right before marriage, and
wow.
he went crazy. Was locked up for a long time. Not only did he get married in jail, he I don't think he got his baby in jail, but he has a son now. He's a
Okay.
preacher, has his
Mm-hmm.
own house and stuff. And again, this person had to look past the fact that he killed somebody.
Mm,
And the reason for, you know, I don't know to what degree did he supposedly go crazy that allowed him to do that. I can sit up here and say myself that I was pushed to that brink to where um, my two middle kids, I almost murdered their mom myself
mm,
because of me breaking. And you only break when you sit and you don't learn something that we just stated. The word
yeah.
no is a powerful thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So when you sit and you don't feel that you're responsible for your happiness and
Mm-hmm.
you force someone else to make it, you end up finding yourself in crazy situations
Yeah.
to that you don't think you have control over, but you do because it's your responsibility.
Yeah.
So it's easy to sit up here and say, no, I am not going to be a victim of this stupidity and I'm going to walk the other way. Hey, I don't care how fine she is. I like something I just stated. Stop putting numbers on women because
Yeah.
just because she's a 10 outside don't mean she's a 10 inside.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
You have to put
yeah.
those boundaries. You have to set those boundaries. And again, it if you're used to chaos and toxicity, then that's what you're going to attract, and that's what you're going to
Yep,
be in.
yep.
You know, yeah.
So last question. What qualities do you value, Deshaun, that the most in a partner, and why are they important?
Ooh, this was, you know what? When I asked God to bless me with,
Mhm.
I had that vision board of what I wanted my mate to be, right? And
Okay.
I wrote down the qualities and attributes that I wanted and so forth. And of course, God made me tear up that list. And, he was like, because I put on the list, I was like, I don't want another 6-fold man, this, that, and other, this,
Mm,
that.
baby, I
And
hope you listening to that. Yeah.
And God was like, "Oh, okay. You telling me what you okay? I got you." But again, when I wrote that list after my divorce, that's because I was writing it in emotion. With
Yeah.
emotions, I was just hurt. So when I was able to, once I got through my healing process, and I was like, okay, I think I'm ready to open up again for dating and a relationship. And the
Uh-huh.
qualities I knew, number one, I asked God first and foremost, send me who you think, no, who I need.
Uh-huh.
That's what I'm trusting you to send me who I need.
Really? I ain't studying you.
And so one of the qualities, he knew that I needed someone that was going to be very supportive of me in my entrepreneurship.
Okay.
And so that is, along with the respect and being the apple of his eye, and I'm being the apple of his. He's being the apple of my eye, and I'm
Definitely as well.
the apple of his. But that those qualities, um, they're very important because that's what I need, and that's who I needed on this journey. You see what I'm
Okay.
saying? So I had to trust God to give me what I needed. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? So um that's what I value the most with him. I know that he's gonna be there. I know he's gonna protect me. And I put that quality on. I needed a protector. And however he got to protect me, I knew that okay, he wasn't gonna send me. And when I say weak, I'm not saying weak as in physically, whatever. What I mean by a man who was going to protect his household,
Uh-huh.
and if anything was going to pop off, I know that he has my back. you
Okay.
know he's going to tell me the truth. And a lot of times he'll be like, babe, you were wrong. And I'll be like, but I didn't, that ain't your place to tell me I'm wrong.
Ain't nobody tell me.
That you're not supposed to do that. That's part of protecting, because he will call me on. So I didn't need a yes person.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I needed that person who's going to be like, no, babe, no. That going back
You
to
know.
that person telling me no. So
Yep.
it's like, no, we're not going to do this, or no, you do this. I need you to, so I needed that person who was going to help me on this entrepreneur journey, and just in other areas of my life. So those are my qualities that I was looking for. And
Okay.
again, this is why I go back to when I'm coaching. I can't tell a person how to get a mate, because again, I don't know what you need.
Yeah.
And I can tell you what you probably need, but that may not be what you need. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so we're always looking. I know a lot of women, first thing they come out their mouth, wow, he needs to make $100,000, this, that, another. He needs to
Ah,
do that,
yeah.
he needs to drive that. And I
Yep.
just be sitting back and looking. I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. That is cool. But do you ask God to help him maintain that $100,000?
Give
Do
me a
you
kiss.
ask God to help him maintain that car and this, that, and the other? So you have to really understand who. Again, going back to the original question, who you
Yeah.
are, and what qualities you want from that person, and so forth. What is, if you, I'm sorry, stumbling about my words, but if you are authentic with yourself, then you're gonna know what you want.
Yeah.
You see what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry, guys, that my wifey kissed me on my forehead, and then she says and tells me no that she's not gonna give me a kiss on the lip. So I'm starting not to
Y'all
like this
just a
conversation.
mess.
This
Don't be
conversation
putting all
was
that lovey, stubby, dubby stuff all on camera.
what? Your boundaries. Your boundaries. Your boundaries.
But look, don't be doing all that lovey. Hey, chef, they over here kissing.
Why you telling
Where's my
Chef on us?
kiss?
My Chef come Chef, they over here kissing.
Where my kiss, chef?
She asking Chef for a kiss. Chef ain't finna. You know what? If Chef come give you a kiss, I'm seriously gonna be mad at mine. Chef, you better not come in now.
He came to the door. See, he don't be paying attention to me. Look at, see, he
Ah.
ain't came to the door yet. He's supposed to bust through the door.
Miss, I'm gonna pick on her in a second as I say Miss Witness. Some women want to marry a six-figure man. How if they don't know any?
Right. And and I tell women it's good. Like if that's what you want, that's fine. But if you exactly what you said, if you don't know how, if you don't know how to carry yourself, or if you just don't know how, then
Uh huh.
hey, how are you gonna get, but again, if you're just looking at the financial piece of it, do you know if he knows how to maintain that six figure? Because you can
Yeah.
have it, but do you know how to maintain it? Do
You
you
know,
know how to make it grow?
it's funny that you say that because that's pretty much the discussion that we had to have last night, and it was kind of hard for me to have it because it goes right
Yeah.
back to what we said with that that it was my guilt of failure, not to her but
Mm,
to myself, where I had to
yeah.
talk. Okay, financially, baby, I ain't doing it right. Now I've
Yeah.
even mentioned this several times, like, baby, I need you to help me. I need you to help me, but I did give in to it because still I thought maybe I was gonna do it this time. I got it.
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah.
But then I had to understand that, bro, even though I am 42 years old, I was never taught finances. I never
Hmm.
went down and figure out what finances was. My wife knows finances to a degree to where she's doing great. I
Yeah.
need to just let
Yeah.
that crap go and go to the guru at this moment, which is my
Yeah.
wife,
Yeah.
and just do what I need to do. But I need to say that she prayed for a tall, dark, handsome dude. And so, but she got a light skinned, short, caramel complexion, wonderful guy. And so I'm so glad that God told her to tear up her piece of paper because it's like the best thing ever. Right, baby? Well, Miss Jackson says, both of y'all stop. I'm single with no one to kiss her. We can't be doing this online. I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. Miss Whitney says their expectations aren't realistic, usually in asking for any um what's that word?
Arbitrary
Arbitrary things
thing.
is the first sign. You are totally
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
So that to get to the good part of this show, changing the narrative. All
Mm.
right, so this is where me and wifey sits down and we try to figure out what is it that we can do to either change or adapt to make the conversation better. So we're trying to figure out who we are. And in
Mm-hmm.
order to do so, first, let's understand that, and this goes to Miss Jackson. I like what you said because I actually had this as a bullet point. First, let's understand that life lessons are endless and can be learned at anytime.
Yep.
It's best that you learn how to love and live with self before looking for someone. Wow, kids. Yeah, yeah. It's still bright out there. I'm sorry, y'all. Yeah, well, it got a little sun. Uh, kids can't go inside because the lights ain't came on yet. It's still like right now. It's best that you learn how to love and live with self before looking for love with a partner. You can achieve this by doing these lovely things that we're about to display. Address past traumas.
Yeah.
The more you run from them, the more it's going to cause a problem because you're going to find yourself in a relationship and then they're going to do a trigger that brings up
Yeah.
this trauma. And then you're going to be like, it's your fault. It's your fault. When at the end of the day, it's you because you ain't addressed the
Yeah.
trauma in the first place.
Right.
Understanding your worth being understanding your worth begins with you. Something that we've been
Yeah.
stating throughout is that it starts with you. You
Right.
can't find happiness without finding happiness in yourself.
Right.
Create boundaries. No, no, no. And no is the very first boundary you need to start using. Heck no, I can't do that. I love you to death,
Right.
but no, 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 no.
No, no,
As my
no.
baby just said. Applaud yourself. This is very important. Applaud yourself when goals and our achievements are met. Going back to Sean saying that even in when it's raining or even if my lights just so happen to get turned off, finding that being optimistic is not a bad thing. People make it
Yeah.
seem as though, how are you happy that you just lost your child? Want to know what? If I lost my child, unfortunately, it may be in a sense of my child is like in pain,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I don't want to see my child in pain anymore.
Yeah.
And that's even with a partner. So it is okay to find happiness in a moment of what word can I
Tragic.
use?
Tragedy.
Yes, tragedy. Correct.
Tragic. Yeah.
Refrain from beating yourself up when things don't go as you want.
Yeah.
It's that's that. It's just what it is. Stop.
Yeah.
Is things happen. That's that lesson that you need to go back. Hey, how could I have done this different? Or maybe I just shouldn't have did it in the first place.
Right.
And I say, guys, I don't know what's wrong with these kids. They crazy. Hey, like they free from jail or something. Well, but guys, I do appreciate the show, Mr. Sean. Before I let you
No.
go, do you have anything good coming up this week or whatnot? Weekend.
Not this week, but I need y'all to again. The September 24th event is happening. The Mail Room's All Black Listening Party, and LaRon is one of the panelists. I am so super excited about that. You can go onto the website, I am TrinetteLCollier.com, and get your early bird tickets. They're early bird that includes your food, drink, photos, and more. So it is basically a unusual twist to a listening party. We're gonna actually listen to y'all men talk about life and love and relationships and all of that. So that's what's coming up. Again, you can go into the website. You can follow me on all social media platforms at Trinette L.
Hmm.
Collier. And again, I always thank you so much for having me. It's always a joy, and I love it.
Yeah, so this listening party, baby, is really uh, she didn't really explain how it really is in order for me to sit and tell you all my wishes and in front of everybody and for you not to say no.
That's why listen, we don't have to be quiet. And the color is black. Last year was white. Color is black this year.
Color is
So
black. Color is black. Color is black.
color is
Guys,
black.
I have a show next Wednesday, but I don't know what it is. I'm sorry. So be on the lookout. And if you didn't catch the show prior to the show, which
Yes.
I'm pretty sure is still gonna ruffle the feathers of a lot of people, still just go take a listen to it. Um, Give me your opinion because hey, you might not see what I see, and that is
Right.
fine because
Right.
it's just me and then you're you, and I respect that, and we should respect each other. So
Right.
um Miss Whitney says, wonderful points. Great guys. Miss Jackson says, Lisa, you're supposed to have her back. You're a bad friend, bro. You're just bad. Well, with that, guys, we totally appreciate it. And I shall see you hopefully next Wednesday.
Next
Same
Wednesday.
time, same bat channel. I'm not sure if I don't think you're scheduled for that one, Mr. Sean.
No. No.
Yeah, so I might be by myself with that one.
She applied her boundaries so nicely. No.
What? She did not just apply her boundaries with that.
She said no.
She said no.
That's right. I said no. I said no. That's what I mean, LaRon. I'm not dealing with y'all.
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
not
All
dealing with y'all.
right. Okay. Oh, you go lay down because I'm finna go lay down too. I gotta go actually at 7
Yes.
o'clock. I thought I was leaving at 12. I gotta leave at 7 o'clock in the morning to go to Texas, guys. I totally appreciate you watching again. If you're
Yes.
watching on
Safe
YouTube, hit
travels.
that like button, comment. If you have any topics, guys, that you want us to dive in, me and wifey are not scared of any topic. We
No,
love
y'all
topics.
not. Yes, y'all do.
Mm,
Y'all tackle them.
mm. Yes,
Kudos.
bring
Y'all
it.
tackle
Mm. I'm sorry. My bad. Love you guys. Bye.
them. Bye, you guys.